Here with Mimi Fontana and her dance troupe, Manhattan Tribal. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Thank you for you all coming. And Mimi, I'm going to allow you to do the honors in introducing everyone in your troupe.
We have starting down on the left there, that's Heather Bonja, and next to her is Naja Maria Richardson. Next to that is Leanne Alicio. I'm Mimi, I'm the troupe director. This is my co-director, Kate Reed, and on the end is Stephanie Rubino, and she's our newest member. This is one of her first performances.
Okay. Congratulations. What sets American Tribal Style ATS apart is that there's the cue dancer where the lead actually changes, and that has to be scary. Oh my gosh. Now, for each one of you to take the lead, how does it feel to be the leader of a dance and you have to control what's being seen and what's being performed?
It puts you on the spot, definitely. I'm more comfortable being a follower rather than a leader at this point, because sometimes I'll get up there, I'm in the lead spot, and I just blank out, and sometimes that happens, and I just default to a basic movement and pass the lead on to somebody else.
So you quickly just pass it.
I mean, it's nerve-wracking if you. ATS is very improvised, but in situations like that, Mimi tells us to have some set moves in our heads so that you're not put in that position. But sometimes when you're in a performance situation, your nerves are going, everything flies out of your head, so it can be very, very nerve-wracking.
Once you finally get comfortable in that position, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, look at this, I'm performing. It's very exciting. Like, it's very exciting to know that you can lead this performance and have everybody follow you. And it's very good.
Naja?
Keeps you focused in the moment and the energy level high, because you never know what's going to happen next.
Kate?
It takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
And also, when you dance together a lot, you get to really be able to have a second sense about what people are going to do. It's like you can just feel what they're going to do even before they know what they're doing.
And the newest member.
It's one of my favorite aspects of the dance, is being able to have that opportunity to create something in a group. It's amazing.
And I just want to say, anyone who is listening, that this troupe, when they're performing, you would never know that it's improvisation, because it looks so tight. It looks like it's completely choreographed. It's beautiful. You would never know. I mean, I know a little because I know, you've taught me about different cues that are involved. But to the untrained eye, it looks totally choreographed.
That's one of the reasons why every move really has a very specific look to it, a specific body angle, specific arms, and it has to be taught that way. So when you're improvising, it really pulls it together. If everyone's angles are exactly the same and their hand movements.
Yeah, I mean, like, the difference between a cue can be a slight curl of the wrist more. So, and because you're cueing off the upper body, and you can't see what the feet are doing under the skirts, if the angle's off or the cue is slightly off, all your followers are going to go into something. You're like, I didn't mean for that to happen. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Communication is everything, right?
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of happy accidents.
It's fun. I mean, yeah, it's once you really get flying with it, it's a lot of fun dancing with other people and just kind of having that spontaneous creation, where it's all coming together and everyone's contributing and nobody really knows what's coming next, but like, woo, let's see,
So now you're going to demonstrate some basic moves in ATS style, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess Kate's going to join me.
So we have a basic set of fast and slow moves in ATS, and Kate and I are going to just demonstrate a couple of the fast ones with some cues so you get an idea of how the cueing system works. Our first move is called Egyptian Basic. Okay? That's a hip twist where the hip comes up and forward. When you can't see it under the skirt, but we're using our whole leg with that. And then the arm on the same side of the body is going to pull back towards the back diagonal of the room. Okay? If I want us to do a half turn, and this is where the cueing comes in, I'm going to angle my body, and then we're going to both step back. And we have rules for cueing, and this one is that we are going to keep half turning until I change the move. And this would be a choo-choo, and choo-choos go forward. We have all different kinds of little arm changes we can do with that as well. So choo-choos go forward, pivot bumps go in a circle. And then we have our Arabic basic. And the cue for that is the arms are going to plunge down the center of the body. Yep. So cues can be as simple as me just looking over my left shoulder slightly, so we know we're going to turn. Okay. And they can be as complex as a half turn cue, followed by another turn cue, which then means a full turn. All right. So it's really an endless kind of language. We also have slow movements, like our tuck seam. And those movements, when we're moving slowly, we can kind of catch it easier, so we don't have such distinct cues. But if you notice, Kate doesn't have to look at my hip to see where it is. She can follow my arm. So as my right arm's lifting, she knows my right hip is lifting. Then stepping back into another basic move, which would be a body wave. And these arm movements are really, really based on flamenco. You can see that with that lifted elbow like that. And the floreos that we use, which are these wrist curls. And we have a few different turn sequences that we use. And just basically memorizing that vocabulary, and that allows us to communicate with each other. And that's pretty much it.
Wow, that was beautiful. It looked totally choreographed. Absolutely choreographed. And you followed, and we couldn't tell to the untrained eye. It looks like it was choreographed. It's amazing.
It's all a language, and you have to learn it and be confident enough with it to lead it. But yeah, and Kate, you and I have been dancing together for a while.
Now, both of you teach. You teach up in Connecticut.
In Terrytown, New York.
Terrytown, New York, and you teach here in New York City. Now, I noticed for your school, you have 2 different levels, level 1, level 2.
I actually have level 3 as well.
Level 3, and also for you?
Level 1 and 2.
Now, let's just jump into the costuming because it is absolutely beautiful. I mean, the colors, the layers, the jewelry, everything is so gorgeous. What makes it specific for American tribal style?
The costume is actually a very modern costume, even though it looks like it might be a little bit more of a traditional costume. Actually, the glitzy kind of more Hollywood costumes would be considered more traditional. The costume is little bits and pieces from a bunch of different cultures. So you have the pantaloons, the wide-legged pants, and those are kind of for modesty as well under the skirts. And those you see all over different cultures along the Silk Road. The big skirts are also traditional. We layer them because it looks great, you know. We tend to be a little bit more covered. And Miss Norecchio from California developed this costuming largely. She's responsible for it. The cholis, which we wear, long sleeve shirts with a coin bra on top of it. It's a little bit more modest. The back is open so we can see the back muscles and what our other dancers are doing. And the jewelry is everywhere from Indian, Moroccan. I mean, you know, it's a lot of personal expression.
And one thing about the costuming is that it is taken from tribal cultures, whereas it might have some fabrics from India that have sequins and gold and bugle beads. You also have fabrics from India with cowrie shells and embroidery and mirrors and coins. So we wear more of that.
Yeah. And the headgear is largely to kind of take it away from the cabaret look with all the head swinging stuff. So this way it's much more elegant and it's much more lifted when you have all these flowers on. It's this beautiful presentation with the headdress, and it really gives that kind of regal feel to it.
Now you use finger cymbals, sometimes called zills.
For ATS, like real deal ATS, the finger cymbals are a requirement, and I start people 3rd class. 1st to 3rd class, I start them with their finger cymbals.
Okay.
It takes a while, but if you learn it all together.
Okay.
And it's also true that, yes, learning zills can be difficult and it can be hard to implement them in your dance, but actually I find that they help mark time and help keep the beat also. So.